What's up, guys? This is Cameron Johnson here, and I know it's been a while since I've made a video, almost probably about a month, but we just finished our album, us being Atma Weapon. It's in the mixing stage, and we're just doing tweaks and whatnot right now. In the meantime, I wanted to show you the amps we used for the album. So essentially, we used I guess 4 different amps or tone sources. So the first one, for all the sort of, I guess some of the dirty stuff, we use this Diesel VH4. It's a super compressed amp. It was the most expensive, one of the most expensive things I own, actually, except for my car, I guess, and my acoustic. But it was pretty expensive, very expensive. I had to sell a whole bunch of stuff to get it, and it sounds really compressed, but in a good way on the album, if that makes sense. Basically, we used channel 3 for our main distorted sound, which is sort of the most famous channel on this amp. There's my setting for that. I ran the channel volume kind of down and the amp volume up a little bit to alleviate some of that compression. And did a little bit of stuff on channel 2 and channel 1, but not much. So mostly just channel 3. And that's really just for the heavy stuff. And moving up here, this is my Freeman modded Marshall JMP with his HBE, BE, all that stuff. I pretty much use just the HBE on this guy, which is the hairy brown eyes, the sort of modded Marshall high gain sound. And I, for a couple clean parts, or cleaner parts I should say, I use the BE, which is the not so crazy modded Marshall sort of sound. So sort of like a Plexi, maybe a little bit smoother, I guess you could say, not as bright. So with this amp, in conjunction with the Diesel, we got all our heavy sounds, and it sounded really good because the Diesel is super tight, and the Marshall is a Marshall. So for all the clean sounds, or for half the clean sounds, I used my Marshall just as a stock JMP. Well, I guess it's stock except for the effects loop that was added to it. But as far as I know, it's pretty much no weird gain. There's no modifications in the sort of tone area. And I just used the, I think I used the low input with the preamp crank just to get a nice clean sound. And then for the other half, believe it or not, I used that in conjunction with the XFX Ultra, just the stock, the Bassman mod, or the Bassman patch on here, which sounds great. So fake and real make a really complex, awesome sound. Unfortunately, the Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier, I was originally going to use this in conjunction with the Diesel or the Marshall, but didn't make the cut for this album. We wanted something a little bit different, and it worked out just how it worked out. And if you're curious how I got all this stuff mic'd up, here is the signal chain or signal path. We started with here's obviously the cable into this Axis Electronics splitter box, and I split that in 3 different ways. So the split out bottom output goes to that tuner, so a tuner is always on but never in line, so I can tune whenever I want, and I don't have to plug anything in. I just had to put the amp on standby or mute it. The main out goes to the amp. In this case, the middle output is going to the Diesel, as you can see right there in the input. And then the other, the ISO out, I just sent that over to this DI, being guarded by Sega Genesis Predator right here. So I went into the DI in this Focusrite ISA1, and that was our reamp signal in case we needed to do that, which we actually did a whole bunch of reamping. And as far as the preamps used, I used just these API 512C. Pardon me, guys, I'm recovering from a cold, I guess. 512C preamps, they both sound great, and you can actually overload those nicely, and they produce a real nice sound. Of course, that's being guarded by my Food Fighters Mean Wiener, and there, right there, my Radial X-Amp reamp box. Also, it's in the 500 series format, just like the preamps. I use that for the reamping, and that actually worked out pretty well. So overall, that's sort of our guitar tone. I'll get to the cab here in a second, but before that, we actually did use some effects on here. I just kind of laid out the ones we used. A little bit of the phase shifter, pitch shifter delay, pardon me. PS3 Boss. I gotta use the Boss pedals, you know. We also used the DC3 on clean, on some clean stuff, very subtly. The high band flanger on probably one part, which is funny because we used it on one part for the last album. This has sort of been the all-star and some cool clean tones, the Boss Rotary Ensemble. I think, I'm not sure if I used any of the Space Echo, but I brought it out just in case. The Electro-Harmonics Freeze pedal. You gotta have a Tube Screamer. I use that mostly for all the lead stuff, which was done with the Axe FX Ultra. Memory Man was on some clean stuff too, because the Memory Man is awesome. My buddy loaned me his Toneworks Korg G4 Damon, but I don't think I really got used much, maybe on a couple parts. And then the MXR Flanger, because that is an awesome pedal as well. Let's check out the cab, guys. Okay, so here's the cab setup. Pardon the glare and reflection. Basically, in this room, everything's set up in here, drums and whatnot, and a whole bunch of junk. So this helped with with the ribbon mic, the Royer R121, from catching anything from its opposite side, because it is a figure-8 microphone. So the reflection filter just helped cut down on that and any sort of slap back from the other wall, or But this room's pretty packed, so it wasn't a big deal. Let me move this, and I'll show you the mic setup. So the only cab we used was this Mesa Boogie Stiletto 412, which is a Marshall sized cab. And mics, we just used my Royer R121 and 57. I'm not sure exactly how our mixer mastering engineer Jamie King blended these. I just gave him a little bit of both, and he might have not even used one or the other, I'm not sure. But anyway, we gave them both just to have different different options. And that was a cab. This is loaded with vintage 30s, and unfortunately we didn't use the Marshall cab, even though it looks way cooler, just because for the style we're doing, you can't really go wrong with vintage 30s. So anyway, here's a quick sample of some of the guitar tones we got. This is our very first mix. We have a lot of tweaking to do, so this isn't the final, and this is probably the first time we've played anything off a new album, so enjoy it.